The Little Star Who Forgot to Shine. A heartwarming bedtime story for kids. High above the quiet earth, in the vast velvet sky sprinkled with twinkling lights, there lived a very small star. She was round, soft, and as tiny as a teardrop compared to the giant stars around her. Her name was Luma. Every night, when the sky darkened and the moon rose, all the stars woke up to do their most important job: shine. They flickered, sparkled, and glimmered like diamonds, painting the night with their light. Children down on Earth pointed to them, made wishes, and whispered good night to their favorites. But poor Luma had a problem. When she tried to shine, nothing happened. No sparkle, no glow, not even the faintest flicker. She squeezed her eyes shut, puffed up her cheeks, and whispered, "Shine, shine, shine." But all she managed was a tiny hiccup that made her wobble in the sky. The other stars noticed. "Oh, Luma," chuckled a plump golden star nearby, "you forgot how to shine again." Another star giggled, her light flickering like silver glitter. "Maybe you're just too small. Some stars aren't meant to shine very bright." Their laughter wasn't mean, but it made Luma's cheeks warm with embarrassment. She curled herself into a little ball and drifted quietly to the edge of the sky, where the glow of the others didn't reach. "Why can't I shine like them?" she whispered to herself. A star that can't shine isn't a star at all. Below her, the world was hushed. A little village lay sleeping. Windows glowed with lanterns, but most were dark. Crickets chirped in the meadows, and the soft wind rustled through tall trees. For a moment, Luma thought she saw a child looking out of a window, pointing to the sky. But when she tried again to sparkle, only a dull flicker came out, barely enough to notice. She sighed. It wasn't that she was lazy. Every night, Luma tried. She squeezed and pushed and imagined herself glowing like the others. But no matter what she did, her light stayed hidden inside her. One night, after all the other stars had filled the heavens with their brilliance, Luma sat with tears in her eyes. A deep, soothing voice drifted across the sky. "Little one, why are you crying?" It was the moon, round, silver, and wise. He hung in the sky like a gentle guardian, watching over both earth and stars alike. His face glowed softly, calm as an old storyteller. "Oh, moon," Luma sniffled, "I can't shine. I've tried and tried, but no light comes out of me. What if I'm not really a star at all?" The moon gazed at her kindly. "Do you know why stars shine, little one?" "Because they're supposed to," Luma replied. "It's their job. It's what makes them beautiful." The moon chuckled warmly. "Stars don't shine just because they have to. They shine because of what's inside them. Each one carries a spark, a gift, a reason to glow. Perhaps you haven't found yours yet." Luma tilted her head. "A reason?" "Yes," said the moon. "Light comes from the heart. When you find what makes your heart sing, your glow will follow." "But what if I never find it?" Luma whispered. The moon smiled, his silver face glowing brighter. "Then I will help you. The sky is wide, and the world below is full of secrets. If you seek your spark, you will find it." For the first time, Luma felt a small flutter of hope. Maybe she wasn't broken. Maybe she just needed to discover what made her shine. She looked down at the sleeping earth, the forests, the rivers, and the mountains that stretched far and wide. A tiny thought tugged at her heart. Maybe my spark is waiting for me out there. That night, as the other stars twinkled proudly, Luma made a decision. She would go on a journey across the sky and beyond to find her light. And so, with a soft bounce and a brave little smile, the little star drifted away from her corner of the heavens, ready to search for the glow hidden deep in. Luma floated carefully across the night sky, her small body bobbing like a bubble in water. The stars around her glittered proudly, filling the heavens with silver, gold, and pale blue light. Their rays overlapped like threads in a sparkling quilt. Everywhere she drifted, she heard laughter. "Look at me, I'm the brightest tonight," boomed a large, glowing star shaped like a diamond. "Oh, but I sparkle the most," sang a slender star that flickered like crystal bells. Clusters of stars giggled together, making patterns, zigzags, animals, and even stories written in light. They traced the outlines of lions, bears, queens, and hunters, forming constellations for the earth below. Children pointed to those shapes and whispered tales of bravery and magic. But when Luma tried to join in, her little voice was drowned out by their glittering chatter. "Who's that?" One star snickered. "Oh, it's the tiny one who doesn't shine," another replied, and the group burst into shimmering laughter that rippled across the sky like waves of silver rain. Luma's cheeks burned. She tried once more, squeezing her eyes shut, puffing her cheeks, and pushing with all her might. For a heartbeat, she thought she saw a faint glow forming. But then, pop! A small hiccup came out, and her glow vanished. The laughter grew louder. "Did you see that?" One shouted. "She made a hiccup instead of a sparkle," another cried. The stars laughed so hard they quivered in their places, sending bright ripples across the sky. Luma drifted backward, away from the crowd, her heart heavy. She didn't want to cry again, not in front of them. She slipped quietly to a darker patch of sky, where fewer stars lingered. Far below, she noticed a campfire glowing in the forest. A group of children huddled around it, roasting marshmallows and pointing upward. "Look, that one looks like a bear," one child said. "And that one looks like a sword," another shouted. Luma watched as the children laughed and traced the constellations. She wanted so badly to be part of the stories they told, to be the star a child pointed to and said, "That's my favorite." But no one pointed at her, because no one could see her. A breeze drifted past, carrying with it the soft hum of the earth. Luma closed her eyes and listened. She heard the whisper of the wind through the trees, the gentle rush of a river, the chirping of crickets, and even the distant hoot of an owl. Everything below was alive, connected, and filled with rhythm. For the first time, Luma wondered, maybe I belong down there instead of up here. She turned back to the stars. They were still laughing and glowing, as if the night belonged only to them. She whispered to herself, maybe the moon was right. My spark isn't here. I'll have to find it somewhere else. But just as she was about to drift lower, a soft voice stopped her. "Why do you hide in the shadows, little one?" Luma looked around and found an older star nearby. He was dimmer than the others, his light softer, like an old lantern. His glow wasn't flashy or bright, but it was steady, calm, and warm. I can't shine like the rest," Luma admitted. "They laugh at me. I don't belong." The old star gave a slow, kind smile. "The sky has room for all kinds of light. Some stars blaze for attention. Others guide sailors, or mark the changing seasons. A star's worth isn't in its brightness, but in what its light is used for." Luma tilted her head. "But if I don't shine at all, what use am I?" The old star twinkled gently. "Then perhaps your light is meant for something different, something not yet seen." Before Luma could ask what he meant, a chorus of laughter echoed again. The younger stars called to each other, forming new patterns. The old star sighed and drifted higher, leaving Luma alone once more. She gazed down at Earth, at the forests, the rivers, and the tiny villages where lights flickered in windows. Her heart tugged again, as though the world below was whispering to her. "Maybe my spark is down there," she thought. And with that, Luma began to drift lower, away from the noisy stars and toward the quiet Earth, her little heart fluttering with both fear and hope. As Luma drifted lower, she felt the air grow cooler around her. The stars above were still laughing and twinkling, but their voices sounded faint now, like echoes across a canyon. The earth below loomed larger, with its deep forests, rolling hills, and glittering rivers that caught bits of moonlight. Just then, a familiar glow spread across the sky. The moon was rising higher, his silver face calm and wise as always. He noticed the little star drifting alone and tilted his great round head. "Luma," the moon said gently, "where are you going, little one?" Luma hesitated, her small body wobbling in the air. I don't know exactly. The other stars laugh at me because I can't shine, and when I watch the earth, it feels like it's calling me. Maybe my spark is down there." The moon gave a thoughtful hum, his voice like a lullaby. The earth does call to many little star. Its forests hum with secrets, its rivers sing songs, and its skies are full of mysteries. But leaving the heavens is no small thing. Why do you believe your spark is waiting there? "Because when I'm up here, I feel invisible," Luma whispered. "But when I look at the earth, I feel something, like maybe I could belong there." The moon's glow brightened, not in laughter but in encouragement. Belonging is a powerful thing, dear one. But remember, a star's light is not just for herself. It's for others, for sailors lost at sea, for travelers in the dark, for children who wish upon it. If you wish to find your spark, then you must look not only at yourself, but at how your light might help the world. Luma thought about that. She had always wanted to be seen, to be part of the stories the other stars told in their constellations. But she had never thought about helping someone else with her light. "How do I find out what my light is for?" she asked. The moon smiled, his silver glow spreading across the earth like a gentle blanket. "By listening, the world below will whisper to you. It will show you what is needed. You must follow the pull in your heart. It may lead you to places you've never imagined." "But what if I get lost?" Luma asked in a small voice. The moon chuckled softly, a sound like wind rustling through leaves. "Then remember this. I will always be here, watching over you. When the night feels too dark, look for me, and I will guide you." Luma's heart warmed. For the first time in a long while, she didn't feel so alone. The moon leaned closer, his glow bathing her in silver light. "You are not broken, little one. You are simply unfinished. Even the brightest stars must learn how to shine in their own way." The words wrapped around Luma like a blanket. She felt a tiny flutter inside her chest, as if something deep within was stirring. Maybe she wasn't useless after all. Maybe she was just waiting to discover herself. "Thank you, moon," she whispered. "I'll try to listen to the earth. I'll try to find my spark." The moon nodded slowly. "Brave little star. The journey will not always be easy. You will meet clouds that try to hide you, winds that try to blow you off course, and nights that test your courage. But if you keep searching, you will find what makes you shine." With that, the moon drifted higher into the sky, his face glowing serenely. He left Luma with his parting words echoing in her heart. Light is not about being the brightest. It's about being needed. Luma looked down at the earth again. The rivers gleamed like silver ribbons. The forest swayed like dark seas. And somewhere in all of it, she believed her spark was waiting. Taking a deep breath, she tilted herself downward and began her descent toward the world below, ready to listen, ready to search, and just maybe ready to shine. Luma drifted lower and lower, leaving behind the sparkling quilt of stars. The sky around her grew darker, quieter, and she felt the cool hush of night air brushing against her. For the first time, she was not surrounded by laughter or glittering patterns. Instead, she was alone with the soft whispers of the wind. At first, she felt nervous. What if she really didn't belong anywhere? Not in the sky, and not on the earth either. What if the moon was wrong, and there was no spark waiting for her at all. But then she remembered his words. Light is not about being the brightest. It's about being needed. That thought gave her courage. As she floated closer, the earth revealed its wonders. She passed over a wide ocean, its waves shimmering faintly in the moonlight. She saw tiny specks of glowing light, lanterns on fishing boats, rocking gently on the waves. Sailors on deck looked up at the sky, tracing constellations to guide them home. Luma's heart ached. If only I could shine, I could help them find their way. But she pressed on. She drifted over fields of golden wheat, swaying gently in the breeze. She saw owls gliding silently over dark meadows, their eyes glowing like lanterns. She saw fireflies blinking their tiny lights in playful patterns. Luma gasped softly. Even the insects had a glow of their own. Why do they shine so easily when I cannot? She wondered. Still, she floated onward. At last, she came to a tall mountain range, its snowy peaks catching the moon's silver glow. The air was thinner here, colder, and she nestled herself in a small pocket of cloud to rest. She peered through the mist at the world below. In a little village at the mountain's base, lights glimmered in windows. Smoke curled from chimneys. Luma leaned closer, curious. She had never seen Earth's people so clearly before. Inside one window, she saw a child sitting by candlelight, staring up at the dark sky. The child pressed their hands together and whispered something. Luma strained to listen, and though the words were faint, she understood. I wish upon a star. Luma's heart skipped. The child was wishing, but none of the bright stars above could hear. The laughter and chatter of the sky was too far away. The only one close enough to listen was her. The child closed their eyes and whispered again, Please let Papa come home safe from the sea. A deep ache filled Luma's chest. She wanted so badly to answer that wish, to glow so brightly the child would know their words had been heard. She pushed with all her might, squeezing and straining, but all that came out was the tiniest flicker. It wasn't enough. The child sighed, blew out the candle, and crawled into bed. Luma hovered in silence, her heart heavy. If I can't even grant one small wish, she whispered, how will I ever find my spark? The clouds around her drifted, and she nestled deeper into them, feeling smaller than ever. But just as her eyes began to close, she heard a soft, rumbling voice. Why so gloomy, little star? Luma peeked out of the clouds and saw a fluffy gray face smiling at her. It was a cloud, plump and round, with eyes like raindrops and a grin as wide as the sky. Behind him, other clouds rolled lazily, their edges glowing silver in the moonlight. I can't shine, Luma admitted. I came down here to find my spark, but all I do is disappoint. The cloud chuckled warmly, like distant thunder. Nonsense. You're just at the beginning of your journey. Every storm starts with a single drop. Every rainbow begins with a little rain. Courage, little star. That's what you need. Courage. Luma tilted her head. Yes, said the cloud. Courage to keep going, even when you feel small. Courage to try again, even when you fail. That's how you'll find your light. The other clouds nodded, their voices rumbling in agreement. Luma felt a small warmth inside her chest. Maybe courage really was the first step. She straightened herself, wiping away her tiny star tears. Thank you, she whispered. The clouds grinned and swirled around her, carrying her gently along with the wind. And as Luma floated with them, she realized something important. Maybe she didn't have to find her spark all at once. Maybe it would come, piece by piece, if she just kept moving forward. And so, with the clouds as her companions, the little star began the next step of her journey, toward whatever awaited her beyond the mountains. The clouds carried Luma high above the mountains, rolling and tumbling like giant pillows. They laughed in low, rumbling voices, puffing themselves into shapes. A rabbit, a castle, even a dragon with smoke-like breath. "Hold on tight, little star," one chuckled as he spun into a spiral, sending a spray of mist into the air. The Cloud Kingdom is full of surprises. "The Cloud Kingdom?" Luma asked, her voice tiny against their booming laughter. "Of course," said another, fluffier cloud who looked like a soft sheep. "We live everywhere, drifting where the wind takes us. But every so often, we gather together, high above the tallest mountains, and that's what we call the Cloud Kingdom." Sure enough, as they floated higher, the clouds thickened until the sky looked like an endless white sea. Towers of vapor stretched upward, curling into castles and bridges. Sunlight from the far side of the world painted them golden and pink, while moonlight on the other side cast silver shadows. Luma gasped. It was beautiful. The clouds chuckled proudly. "Welcome, little one. Not all kingdoms are made of stone and crowns. Some are made of dreams and air." They guided her into a hall made of swirling mist, where more clouds had gathered. Some were heavy and gray, grumbling with thunder. Others were wispy and light, dancing like ribbons. Together, they filled the sky with their presence, each one different, each one important. Luma felt small among them, but not the same kind of small she'd felt among the stars. Here, she wasn't laughed at. She was simply noticed. One particularly grand cloud, tall and gray with streaks of lightning flickering faintly inside him, leaned down. His voice rumbled like distant thunder. "Tell us, little star, why have you come to our kingdom?" Luma hesitated. Then she told them everything. How she couldn't shine, how the other stars had laughed at her, how the moon had said her spark was waiting to be found, and how she wanted more than anything to discover her light. When she finished, the Cloud Kingdom rumbled with thoughtful murmurs. Some clouds whispered like soft rain, others crackled like faraway storms. Finally, the tall thunder cloud spoke again. "You seek your light. That means you seek courage, for light only reveals itself to the brave." Luma tilted her head. "But how do I find courage if I feel so small?" The thunder cloud rumbled softly, almost like laughter. "Courage does not mean you are never afraid. Courage means you keep moving, even when you are afraid." Another cloud, thin and graceful like a ribbon of silver, floated closer. "We clouds change all the time. One moment we are bright and fluffy. The next, we are dark and stormy. But no matter what shape we take, we keep moving across the sky. That is courage," the fluffy sheep-like cloud added. "And even when we cry, when we fall as rain, we bring life to the world below. Being small or sad doesn't make you useless. It makes you real." Luma listened carefully. Their words filled her with a strange kind of strength. Maybe she didn't need to be fearless. Maybe she just needed to keep going, even when things felt impossible. "I think I understand," she said softly. "Courage isn't about being big or bright. It's about trying, even when you're scared." The clouds rumbled in agreement, their voices echoing through the kingdom. The thundercloud leaned down once more, his lightning flickering warmly instead of fiercely. "Remember this, little star. The sky is wide, but it has room for every kind of light. When you feel afraid, move forward anyway. That is how you will find your spark." Luma bowed her tiny round head. "Thank you." The clouds smiled and parted, creating a path through the mist. "Go now, little one," they said. "The world is waiting." Luma floated forward, her heart lighter than before. She still couldn't shine, but she carried something new inside her, courage. And though it was invisible, it made her feel just a little brighter. As she drifted out of the Cloud Kingdom, she whispered to herself, "I may be small, but I will keep going. I will find my light." The clouds rumbled their approval behind her, and the wind carried her onward, toward new lands, new friends, and new lessons. If you want to see the part 2 of this story, kindly like and subscribe to this channel. Also subscribe for more educative and inspiring kids' stories.